What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about my experience playing in my first Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. Not only was it a local tournament, well, it wasn't a local tournament, it was the YCS. So I took the plunge into basically one of the biggest tournaments you can play. I guess like Nationals might be bigger. I think it's like very similar though. So there was over 1,100 players in this tournament at YCS Charlotte. My first time ever playing. So it was quite interesting to say the least, because I was definitely not prepared when it comes to a lot of the things that you need to know for a tournament. So I'm going to talk about it for a little bit today on the Ruxin Live channel. So if you guys want to hear more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe to this channel, because it's going to be more casual stuff, not as not opening, intensive and stuff like that. Some highlights from all of the streams, etc. So let's get into what happened. So I'm not going to talk about Friday because it was a crazy long day, but Saturday we went into the venue at 9 a.m. and I had to get registered because basically I didn't get there the day before on time, so I had to register at 9. So we got registered, everything, we got set up. And then they announced, hey, we're posting the pairings on this wall over here, this huge venue. I'll probably try and post a video over this so you guys can see it if you haven't seen it. But in my other YCS video, you can go check that out with other clips. Basically, how they did it was you go and check the pieces of paper on the wall for 1,100 players and figure out who you're playing. And then you go sit at that specific table. And the crazy thing was that, 1,100 players, about over 500 different tables you could sit at. I was at table number 9. So I was on the very front, like literally in the front. It was like spotlight. I was like, oh man, this is not good. I'm not really ready, because I brought my deck. I brought an Invoked Dogmatica DPE deck, but I hadn't played it in like a month. I haven't ever played against the Brave Engine. I haven't played against Sword Soul. I haven't played against any of that stuff. So that's, a ton of the stuff that's coming up. Plunder Patrol, all these different things that people are playing. What was the other one? And Flundery, so I never played against that either. So I never played any of the decks that I was about to face. So I knew it was not going to go too well. I just decided to have some fun. So I went to table 9. I'm kind of like, oh man, I'm getting a little nervous here. I'm not expecting to do well, but I would like to, at least try. So I get there, I sit down. My opponent's not there yet. Everyone else at the table is there. So I'm just kind of like, okay. And I just remember, as soon as I sit down, I didn't bring a mat. So if you guys have ever played against somebody without a mat, it doesn't happen very often. Everyone else is just looking at me like, where's your mat, dude? Why don't you have a mat? Because this is a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. You should have a mat. So I'm sitting there like, okay, yeah. And this guy next to me is like, hey, you want to borrow my mat? And I was like, sure. So this guy handed me his mat. It was a Shadal mat, ironically, for me playing Alistair. So it was kind of funny that he actually handed us that. So I throw it down. I'm like, okay, I got myself a mat. All right, well, we got everything now. No, surely we don't have anything else we're forgetting. I see all these people pulling out pens and paper. I'm like, I kind of remember people saying that you kind of have to have these. So I didn't have one of those. Didn't have a pen, didn't have a piece of paper. So I'm like, oh, this is awkward. My opponent finally shows up, and I'm like, man, I really hope he's not like some serious guy. It's going to be like, where's your pen paper? You're DQ'd. Get out of here. You're not playing. Turns out he wasn't. It was great. So this guy sits down, and then I'm like, what's up, man? He's like, hey, what's going on? And then he starts looking through his deck. Like, he starts throwing down cards from his deck, like going through it. Like, it was just a little odd because we had to wait for a few minutes to get started, because normally you wouldn't want someone to know what you were playing, but he started showing me a bunch of cards, like not really showing me, but he was throwing them down on the table where I could see them without, like, it's not like I was like trying to look. It was just, he was just showing me. It was very strange. And he's throwing down Blue Eyes White Dragon cards. And if you guys know me, I've played the Blue Eyes deck. I know it's not a great deck. I know how it works. So I'm thinking, okay, all right, we got a chance here. We can win this one. I know I can beat Blue Eyes. So he's throwing out his Blue Eyes cards. Eventually they say, all right, guys, it's time to get started. It's time to start your round or whatever. The guy was not a stickler about the pen and paper thing. So we were good. We used like Neuron or whatever on our phone. And so we get into it. Game 1. I remember I made multiple mistakes. I can't remember exactly what happened because, I don't have that kind of memory. But I did a couple things and I was like, that was just stupid. Why did I do that? He was playing the Blue Eyes deck with like Jet Dragon and stuff. So his goal was really to get a Blue Eyes out and then get Jet Dragon. And then like every time something got destroyed, he would bring Jet Dragon back. So the first game, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember, I think I drew like a bunch of Dogmatica stuff. And I remembered as I was playing the deck that I took out Maximus for some reason. So I didn't have Punishment in my deck because I don't really like Punishment, but then I was like, okay, so that's a search target that I don't have. Then I took out Maximus. So I only had one search target for all of my Dogmatica Ecclesia. So I had Ecclesia, but I could only search for the Fleur-de-Lis. That was it. So I had Fleur-de-Lis in my opening hand, but I didn't have Ecclesia. So I played that, and I was basically playing beat down with one monster because I was not drawing anything. It was really weird, and I ended up with like 1,300 life points before I finally ended up drawing, I think, Alistair, or maybe it was Nadir servant or something like that. And so I ended up doing that and winning the first game. The second game, I was able to get out Mechaba and DPE, I believe, so I pretty much just wiped that game pretty easily. He would Jet Dragon, but then I would just DPE at every turn, so we couldn't do anything with it. Destroy Phoenix Enforcer for everyone who doesn't know what that is. So I won the first match, and I was like, oh my gosh, I actually just won. You know, I was like, well, it was Blue Eyes White Dragon, so I probably should have won that one. So we won the first round. I was feeling pretty good. I was like, nice. After the second round, they were going to have a lunch break, so I went to my second round. I get absolutely cleaned. Like, it wasn't even close. The guy destroyed me. I think he was using, everyone was using Brave after this point. They were using something Brave. I think he was using the Prank Kids Brave at that point. He just killed me. It wasn't even close. He beat me in 2 games, so I was like, all right, 1-1, whatever. We went to lunch, which there was no time to really do that. So I just came back immediately to my round 3 game. I play another guy who's using Brave something, and it was like, it wasn't close. Like, honestly, I had no chance to win that game. So I'm 1-2. Basically, at 3 losses, you're out. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm going to be happy with 1 win anyway. We go to the 4th game. I play this dude. He beats me pretty easily the first game. Game 2, I actually have a chance to win this one. I had set up with either Mechaba and Winda or Mechaba and DP. I think I was Mechaba and DPE. So I had both of those on the field. I was feeling pretty good about it. He told me afterwards that he was about to scoop, and he drew his next card, and it was Forbidden Droplet. Forbidden Droplet was then able to negate all my cards, and then he just took over the game, basically, and I lost game 2. So I didn't win another game after winning the Blue Eyes matchup, which was not surprising at all based on the fact that I had never played these decks that I was playing against, so I didn't know exactly what they were trying to do. But it was still really fun. I had a chance to win a game in that 4th round, but he did draw the Droplet, unfortunately. But it was still a lot of fun to play all those. I ended up playing some speed duels later. I lost my first speed duel. The second speed duel, I won the first match against Sean, who was Chaotic Meatball. He actually won the 2 other events we ran, so he played 3. He won 2. The other one he lost to me, so I felt okay about winning that one. But other than that, I think I lost the other match after that. So it was a lot of fun playing the speed duel stuff, though, because I had a little bit more of a grasp about the meta and stuff, because it was a lot simpler and it's a lot like Duel Links, so I have a lot more experience that way. So it was a ton of fun playing in the original games. I think next time I would like to at least have played against the decks before, so I at least kind of have an idea of what's going on. Maybe I can win more than one match, but facing that Blue Eyes was pretty exciting, because I was like, I know how to play against this. I know I can beat it. I know my deck's better, so I should win this one. So that honestly gave a little bit of extra, like, okay, I'm supposed to win this, so maybe I should, but I did pull it out, fortunately, so it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed the YCS. There's a lot of other things that happened besides just playing, but I thought I'd give a little recap about what happened in my duels. I really had fun. If you guys said hi to me, thanks a lot for coming up and saying hi, get signing stuff and all that stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll post more discussion type videos. I'll see you guys later. Peace.